Hello.
Hello.
We are starting a cult. That's who we are. That's what
true.
we do. That's why
true.
we're here, because we're doing that
You're right.
for
You're right.
you. How about that?
I know, dude. You're Grant. I'm Jake. We're starting a cult. It's amazing.
That is true.
And we're back again.
We are back on the beautiful, what's the date? The 18th of February,
Yeah.
2022.
Which means we just passed Valentine's Day.
Which is true. And you know how we got to celebrate here? We, for those of you that aren't in the Midwest, this is what we've been dealing with in this area. It snowed, probably about between 10 and 13 inches 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So it snowed real bad. Pretty much everything was shut down for at least a day, sometimes two.
Yep.
Depending.
It was bad.
It was real bad. We finally recovered. And believe it or not, Wednesday, it was like 53 degrees. And all that shit melted. It was like all gone, like everywhere. And then it rained about 2 inches, and then it went to about 14 degrees.
Yep.
And everything was frozen. Then we got about 5 to 6 more inches 2 days ago.
It was just sleeting fucking sideways, just ice crystals in your eyes.
Yeah, it was fucked up. So yeah, that's how we were blessed by Cupid, was just being molested in the worst possible way by that creepy uncle that is nature.
Yeah. Nature's always so creepy.
But we're back, and today's a great day.
It is.
It's Friday. We got a new episode of the show. The new Texas Chainsaw is out today.
We're going to have a little viewing party of that later on.
Hell
it's going to
yeah.
be great. Some friends over, you know.
We're going to hang out, watch some fucking Texas Chainsaw, see where the night takes us. Maybe we'll kill, maybe we'll be killed, I don't know.
Who knows?
But in the meantime, working up to that moment of the night, we're going to do our brand new episode on the Valentines Day Massacre.
The St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
How silly of me.
How ridiculous.
I forgot 2 measly fucking letters.
And a dot.
And a sentence stopper.
You fucking,
Just
get with it, Grant. Come on. Well, yeah.
Anyways, that is what we're going to be doing today. So I hope you guys are ready, because we're going to tell you a little bit about some massacring.
No, it's true. This mass occurred, yes.
It's occurring. This
I
massacre
know.
had occurred at a massacre. Massacring?
Masticate?
Yes.
Yes, all right, there we go. Dude, I don't think we've ever done a story on gangsters.
No, and
we've never even mentioned it.
It's actually really funny because I was talking to George. Now, keep in mind, this was probably 2-3 weeks ago. But we were playing something. I don't even fucking remember. But we were chatting. And he was like, you know what? He was like, you should do episodes on gangs. And I was like, I really ran with it. I was like, that's a cool idea, like gangs and stuff, blah, blah. I talked about it for probably 15 minutes. And then Georgie was like, no, I said games. Like, you should do, like... He was trying to tell us that we should, like, stream video games, like, as a bonus,
yeah, why not? We could do that. That'd be a cool idea.
And I was like, that would be cool, but it spawned an idea of, like, doing, like, gang activity shit. It really could be a lot of fun.
No, he planted the seeds. He didn't even know it.
It'd be really, really hard to tackle, I think, but it's something we would definitely be able to do.
We could do that.
And hopefully it'll happen eventually. We got some stuff to get through first, but... so this is a little preview of what may or may not come in the future for us.
Yeah, there you go. Gangs before games.
Yes.
Is what we always say here in this room.
You have to be cool with the gangs before you can play their games.
Be cool, dude. Yeah. All right, well, let's get into the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, right? Fucking crazy. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre was a historically unsolved, that's very important, gunning down of 7 individuals either in or associated with Chicago's infamous North Side Gang.
Ooh.
All right, the Irishmen. So not to be mistaken with the Chicago Outfit, the North Side Gang, that is. Not to be mistaken with the Chicago Outfit, which was the South Side Gang, ran by the infamous Al Capone. We got Al Capone as a character this week. All right?
Yeah, it's not the real guy. This is another guy. His name's Al. Not the guy
Alfred,
you're
not Albert.
It's Albania.
What's
Capone.
his full name? Is it Albert or Alfred?
Or Alan? I don't
Alan?
know. Is that
God, Al could be anything.
Is it too new? I don't know. Alcor?
Oh, God. He's going to take your body. Well, so let's get into a little bit of the background, because one really needs the full story to fully understand why. It's gangs. You're always going to assume like, oh, that gang killed the other one. Who knows? All right, we need some background on this, okay?
Right.
So it all started with the 18th Amendment to the Constitution, right?
That pesky amendment.
Yeah, in January of 1920, banning the manufacture of, transportation of, importation or exportation of alcohol. No booze at this time, for some reason.
Whoever thought that'd be a good idea? Like, I mean,
it's like morally corrupting the country.
Let's just think rationally. I mean, I really hope that taught us our lesson. But in a way, it's like it hasn't, because we're going down that road now. And I'm not even going to go political here, because we're kind of all over the map when it comes to that for us.
Yeah.
But the idea, like, let me put it this way: whatever you guys perceive this to be, you could take it as. But I hope that we've learned our lesson that banning anything and making it illegal to have...
It just makes it so highly sought after.
It just creates a market for it to happen in a very dangerous way. We've seen that with pot. The war on drugs, drugs won that war, and now they're legal. And believe it or not even all the states or the federal government says marijuana is legal. But we're inching ever closer to psilocybin mushrooms being legal.
Damn right, dude. Microdose that shit, feel happy all the time.
So in a mere decade, we have gone from all drugs are bad to, well,
maybe
pot
a little
and mushrooms are cool. You
yeah.
guys can do that. That's fine.
Mushrooms never hurt nobody.
And for those of you wondering, just an interesting take on this, if you're into mushrooms, no one's ever actually died from consuming mushrooms, either in overdose form or anything like that. Obviously, I have no data on, like, what it might do to you mentally. Maybe you, like, take mushrooms and, like, put your face in a blender. I don't know. But it can happen, I assume. But you don't overdose on that shit.
I would recommend not doing that.
It's the same with pot. No one's ever overdosed from pot or been killed by pot. Now, what you do when you're on it is, that's a personal decision.
Yeah, that's all you.
Control that shit. But how did we get? Oh yeah, we were talking about banning things is terrible.
Yeah,
so let's just not.
The 18th Amendment. It took away alcohol.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, it didn't take away the It was still legal to possess and consume it, but you couldn't buy it or transport it or make it. So if you had it, fuck it, it's so good, right?
So the prepper
pretty
people,
sweet. Yeah, pretty sweet if you had a stock home beer or stocked home bar. What the fuck happened there?
Crazy alcoholic people are just it's our time to shine. We're rich now.
We have it. Everything's awesome.
This single bottle of beer is now worth $50 by itself.
Well, this is what you were just talking about. In any case, the reaction of the people of the U.S., or more specifically those involved in organized crime, was immediate. Within an hour of the laws taking effect, whiskey trucks were being hijacked.
Oh, yeah.
Within an hour. So eventually, however, but still pretty quickly, the bootlegging business became the heart of the organized crime, world.
Yeah,
that was the biggest thing. Some historians attribute the rise of organized crime to prohibition directly.
Oh, I would 100% agree with that.
It was a cash cow, just automatically.
They were union busters and shit like that, and then prohibition came. It was we could make some real money here.
Yeah, dude. I mean, gangs previous to this were super into just robbing, gambling, and prostituting.
Yeah,
those were the main things. But prohibition
racket
was
type of shit. It's yeah, we got a racket downtown. Now it's we have an empire. We could literally
this is how the gangs got rich.
And it was international too. It wasn't city by city. It was there were trucks that were in fucking New York that would be stolen and then redistributed out in the Midwest and vice versa, you know?
Yeah.
So this was international. It was practically global at that point.
A booming business for the crime families of America.
And there's no way to stop that train. People want to drink.
Oh yeah. And when there's money to be made, there's an increase of danger. Okay?
Absolutely.
Gangs began fighting with one another for territory, true turf wars in that way, And though gangsters would generally keep the violence mobster to mobster, just like within the mob community. The city of Chicago was being made very aware that their streets were riddled with dangerous people.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just everywhere. The police weren't much help in quelling the citizens of Chicago's minds either. More often than not, police were often paid off by the mob to look the other way. And in some cases, they even helped transport it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think...
They're just driving the truck. They're like, is this good, boy? It's crazy.
Think of how simple that is. I mean, you're a cop. You're fighting a losing battle. There's no way that you can catch everyone that's transporting alcohol or, owning it. So, really, your two options are you could be a straight cop who, just everybody hates and your life is on the line because the Mafia will just fucking kill you. Or you could give the people what they want, keep your job, and make money.
Yeah.
And just go about your day.
The easiest thing to do when you're a cop is not be a cop and, in fact, commit crimes.
Yeah.
It's so easy, and you can just get money. It's great.
It's perfect. It's literally the perfect crime. You're meant to do that almost. That's like...
Yeah, so who are you going to call? Me? You idiot?
Yeah, and that shit happens even to this day. People don't want to admit it, but that happens everywhere all the time.
Yeah. And even, I'm sure this happens today, too, but even back then... The people higher up than them, like politicians, at the same time, they were also in bed with the mob.
Oh, yeah.
So there was no stopping this. Really, it was just gang activity and violence. It went largely unchecked by anyone outside of the mob itself. So it was just a self-checking system. And that was a very violent
it's a problem for everybody involved, pretty much.
Not good. All right, so the gangs, right? The North Side gang was an Irish gang. And the South Side gang, which was the Chicago outfit... was an Italian gang.
The Italians.
Right? The Italians and the Irishmen. I never saw that movie, so I know that there's a joke somewhere in there, but I don't know what it is.
I never saw it either. I don't have the patience for that.
Yeah.
It's like reading a fucking audiobook version of the Bible.
I did see a couple clips of Robert De Niro beating people up, and it's just so obvious he's in his 70s and not actually beating people up.
Yeah, I'm not really enticed by that film at all.
Yeah. But all right, so in the early 1920s, Jon Torrio, an Italian gangster from New York, became the leader of the South Side gang. Working as a business manager for another gangster named Big Jim Colosimo.
That has to be a nickname, right? There's no way.
I don't know, man, but Colosimo is the coolest, most badass name I've ever heard.
Yeah, you don't fuck with Big Jim Colosimo.
Big Jim or is it Colosimo or something?
Either
way.
I like the idea of Colosimo. He's just
Colosimo.
that big. His bloodline knew who he would be.
He's like, this guy's going to be the next fucking, whatever the purple guy is from the Avengers.
Yeah, the fucking Thanos.
Yeah, sure.
He's going to be the big fucking ball sack head looking.
I'm sure this guy's got cooler stones on his fingers.
Probably.
So
he's rich.
Colosimo, he was an old school kind of gangster, mostly involved in gambling and prostitution before Prohibition, just like all of them,
Right.
But once Prohibition took effect, he was known to have the mindset of there's enough for everybody. Real socialist, this guy.
That's a weird mobster.
Yeah,
that
right?
Really is.
Because he was just like, I don't want any violence in the many gangs, bootlegging businesses. He felt that all gangs in the city could get more than their fair share of alcohol profits without disputes with one another.
Okay.
Which is like you said, pretty uncharacteristic seeming thing. I mean, maybe we're just desensitized or mind fucking fucked by Hollywood.
Yeah,
it's a lot of them are just these are bad people.
And I'm sure there were plenty of them that, I'm so sorry. I passed some enormous gas here.
Right as I burped?
We're
gonna get pink eye.
We're creating a vortex.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think in movies it's easy to have that dynamic of I'm the powerful one, you're not. But the Mafia, I mean,
they're just businessmen who work within breaking the law.
Yeah, and I mean, let's call it what it is. Basically. Whether you believe this or not, the government and the CIA all learned a lot of their tactics from organized crime back in the 20s and 30s. So they're, you could tell that they're not all about destruction. It's very much we need these people. So, let's give them an inch so that they'll give us 2 inches,
There you go. Yeah, it's all about
It's about scratching
working
each
it
other's
out.
backs.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that Hollywood got right was the whole, like, I gave you a favor, now you owe me a favor.
But
That's how the
respect,
whole
all
system
right?
operated. So,
Yeah.
like, you can't just go around killing everybody
Yeah.
because no one's going to want to work with you, and you have no business.
Yeah, if you kill people, you're not going to work with anybody.
Exactly. There's a whole mind game to the Mafia and shit.
No, it's true. Well, another big thing about Colosimo, he was, also from New York. Colosimo brought with him a young Al Capone as a sort of protege.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Capone looked up to him as an advisor in the business as well as a father figure. So this is a big guy in Al's life. The counterpart to Torrio on the South Side gang was a man named Dion O'Banion.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah, of the North Side gang.
Dion O'Banion.
O'Banion.
I mean, obviously, he's a North Sider because that is not an Italian name.
No,
by
it's
any means.
extremely Irish.
Yeah, you throw an O in front of anything, and it's Irish.
Yeah. O'Banion, he also had a few proteges, right? Jaime Weiss, or Weiss. It's one of those German names
Jaime
where it's a
Weiss?
W. I don't know if it's a V sound. But anyway, Jaime
Weiss.
Weiss and George Bugs Moran.
Nice. Bugs, baby.
Bugs. So O'Banion grew up in Chicago's Little Hell area, better known as the previous site of the Cabrini Green projects.
Previous, wouldn't that be after?
Yeah, better known now because
my bad.
Cabrini Green is gone also.
My bad. Yeah, I was going to say
but
my
that's
bad,
more
bad.
famous.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
that was my mistake.
Yeah. So O'Banion was born there. Then Cabrini Green came, and then it left, and now it's that location still. So in an Irish family, that's how he grew up, and he had an uncharacteristic love for flowers. Flowers and flower arrangement. Yeah.
He's
a quirky guy, a flowerist. O'Banion was he even partially owned and operated out of Schofield's flower shop. So that was like his main hub.
Yeah, that was the cover. I mean,
the cover.
That's the perfect cover because he actually likes what the cover is.
Yeah, who suspects a florist also?
And you could just blend in. He's like, I fucking love my job. Like, why would I jeopardize that? This is my life.
Yeah, right.
But little do you know, the back room is full of fucking illegal shit.
It's a good way to show respect too, because he would often provide flowers for the most of the gangster-related funerals in the city.
Perfect. Dude.
You
This guy's
he flowered them up after they died. Despite his love for flowers, however, O'Banion more or less went to war with the Italians of the South Side, beginning with a business deal gone awry.
It does not sound like a flower lover.
No.
Like go to war with like
Sounds
a rival gang.
Dick. You remember all the pictures of the hippies putting flowers and guns? What happened to that?
Yeah, that's a fucking.
Where does he stand? Which side of the
That's just
photograph?
art. Art does not imitate reality in that world.
No,
for sure.
No, not at all. Well, the business deal gone awry. O'Banion offered to sell Torrio of the Southside gang half interest in a local brewery for $500,000.
Damn.
In 1920s. That's an insane amount of money. Man, can you look up the fuck? I keep thinking exchange rate, but it's not.
I get the inflation rate.
Inflation rate. I can
Give
never
me that
think
number
of that.
one more time.
$500,000 in 1920.
All right.
Do it.
All right, we're looking it up.
How much was this business? The half interest in local breweries.
Holy shit. So it has the purchasing power of $7,028,700.
So a nice hunk of change.
Yeah, this
especially back then.
This dude's got a fucking nest egg. He's got the
yeah.
equivalent to $7 million right now.
Yeah, so we offered to sell Torrio half interest in a local brewery for that amount of money, that insane amount of money, $500,000. In the process of this deal, after the money was exchanged, because Torrio accepted, Torrio went down in a police raid.
Ooh.
All right? Not only did O'Banion keep the $500,000, but he was partially responsible for Torrio going down in the deal.
Damn.
Because apparently, all we know of the motives of him were just like, oh, maybe I want to fuck around with this guy, maybe I want to get money. But in the specific case of O'Banion, he was tipped off that there would be a raid on this deal, So he used it to get Torrio in trouble, you know?
All right. Makes sense.
And because of his lack of a criminal history in the books, as opposed to the long rap sheet of Torrio, he knew that he'd get away unscathed. It was a power play. And it was a 200 IQ move, in a way.
Yeah, that's some straight Mafia shit. That is like what they're all about, the intelligence. It's not so much about power as it is like smart moves, you know?
Oh, yeah, you got to be reasonable about this.
The smart moves bring you the power, and they were smart enough to know that.
Dude, I'm like totally in the mood for this shit. I just started watching The Sopranos recently. I'm in a gangster mood. All right,
you got to watch The Godfather. That's like
I haven't seen that either.
That's like the pinnacle. I mean, I would recommend the whole trilogy. Obviously, the third one falls short of the other two, but there's no denying that the first two are just outstanding.
All right, then.
You don't even have to like the Mafia. It's just a good movie.
My 2022 is going to be my year of the gangster.
It's very interesting. There's a lot of weird, crazy shit that happens in the Mafia.
It's insane. And the next thing that's about to happen is even more gangster, all right? Mobster, rather. Because his transgressions, O'Banion's that is, won him a little visit on November 10th of 1924 in the flower shop.
Ooh.
All right? So 3 men entered Schofield's flower shop on the north side, State Street, saying that they were looking for a wreath. They were going to buy a wreath for the funeral that they were attending for Mark Merlot, a prominent Italian gangster.
All right.
Okay.
Gotta get the flowers.
So one of the men, upon meeting O'Banion, he extended his hand for a handshake. Super nice, just like all business. Hey, give me the wreath, please. And when O'Banion reached for his hand to shake it, the other 2 men shot him 6 times. In his own flower shop.
Baller move.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Baller fucking move, for sure.
Yeah. So that's what you get for pranking the mob. All right? The Italian mob specifically. O'Banion's funeral was obviously bedecked in a shitload of flowers and decor, including a basket of roses sent from Al Capone himself with a tag reading "From Al."
That's sweet.
Pretty nice, right? Though he, was probably directly involved. So this was the beginning of the direct and constant retaliations of the 2 gangs to one another.
Oh, yeah, you started it.
So this is where it all pretty much starts.
You picked the wrong flower. That's what you did.
The wrong flower, all right? The wrong Ferrari.
How about that? You picked the wrong fucking flower. Now everybody's pissed because he was the nice guy, No,
he was. He was the flower man.
Everybody had a cool little thing going with him, and then now it's over.
Yeah. Where am I going to get my roses? My poinsettias?
You got to go somewhere else, man.
Time.
Some not mob-affiliated flower store.
He was the best, and now he's gone. You know who took over for him? Jaime Weiss. Or Weiss. I'm going to say Weiss.
Weiss. I can't do pronunciations like that. I don't get it.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, he took over leadership for O'Banion in the North Side Gang, and that very next year in 1925, organized an attack on Torrio. Okay, severely wounding him. They didn't take him out, but he was basically out of commission after this.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and he left the South Side Gang in the reliable hands of Al Capone. He rose to power.
Oh, yeah.
Al Capone is in charge now.
And that's a whole other episode in and of itself, but Al Capone has a very wild ride to the top, and it's, as far as the Mafia is concerned, it's relatively fast. That's why he's so prominent.
He was so qualified.
Like, that dude really climbed the ranks in a matter of no time relative to that.
It's true, dude. He was a natural. So these 2 gangs were at odds for years following this roster change-up, right? It went on for years. So Capone even tried at a few points to, work out like an understanding, like a peaceful sort of like treaty with Vice, just because it was getting like so ridiculous. But Vice was sort of the aggressive type and would not see reason.
Yeah, makes sense.
He just kept pushing and prodding, and he would call him fat. And he didn't like that. Yeah, Al didn't like that.
Fat.
So, on October 11th of 1926, outside of the very flower shop in which his predecessor was gunned down, Vice was gunned down in the street on Capone's orders.
Ooh.
It's all in the same area.
Hey.
This flower shop is bad news, I would find, as a Chicago citizen. Maybe I should not get flowers there.
Or maybe you just really don't get too close with the person that is operating it.
Yeah, maybe just like buy the flowers and leave, and just walk fast.
And that's another I wouldn't even say it's a misconception. It's something that is just not thoroughly explained. The Mafia weren't like the criminals of today that are very like take no prisoners, just like kill whoever gets in your way.
Yeah.
They were very adamant on not involving like casualties that weren't necessary.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying earlier. Like they kept the violence to each other.
Yeah.
Not any like citizens and police if they,
Yeah, believe it or
could
not,
get away without
they were very
doing that.
Most of the families, and that's kind of all around the country where the mob operated. Most of the families were very protective of the community, and like if if a fellow mob family killed like an innocent person that was in your territory, that was like an act of war.
Yeah, it's
much.
like you're going down.
Yeah, like that
you're
was
going downtown.
That was worthy of retaliation. So, and the gangs of today, like they have that in a way, but they're a lot more guns blazing, to say the least. It's very much like, well, fuck it, whatever happens.
There's not quite as much respect.
Yeah, it's a lot more.
Because I totally know everything about crime today.
Yeah, and I'm just venturing a guess based on like what you can access.
Just
obviously,
what it seems,
But yeah, like the Mafia, they were very protective. So this flower shop, it's like even the local citizens, they were very aware that even though violence occurs there, it's like as long as you keep your nose out of it and like keep your head down, like you're not going to be the next one.
Yeah, you're going to be fine. Yeah. And the Northside gang kept Schofields as like a base, even after O'Banion was gone. So they were just like, this is definitely our place. Like, it has to be.
I'm going to throw this out there.
Yeah.
Do you think it's called Schofields or Schofields?
I don't know.
I keep hearing it, and I'm like, I can't decide. Schofield seems like something that I've heard before. I mean, obviously not in reference to this flower shop, but it just seems like a word that I'm like, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
Schofields or Schofields. I don't know. It's on State Street in the north area.
I wasn't around.
I also was not around. I can't imagine it's still there.
No.
Well, if it is, it'd be cool. But
it's probably...
We should go looking for it.
Whatever place is now occupying it certainly probably has a plaque or something.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That's some historical shit right there.
O'Banion was fucked here by 6 bullets.
And they're like, what is that? Oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
Well, so, Vice is dead, okay? And from the ashes of Vice rose the next man on the roster for the Irish gang's leadership.
Ooh.
Who do you think it was?
Fucking... I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Bugs. It was George Bugs Moran.
Now it's Bugs v. Al.
Bugs v. Al. That sounds like a fancy-ass restaurant.
Bugs v. Al?
Bugs v. Al. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bugs v. Al. That is a fight you don't want to get in the middle of, for certain.
Yeah. Now, George, he is better known for his quickness to violence than his intelligence in the game, right? So he was just kind of a hothead. Just to further, drive that point home, his name Bugs came from his reputation for having a short temper. So I guess like from bugging out. I don't know if that was a term back then.
Yeah,
that's my best guess, but Bugs is apparently linked to his quickness to violence.
Oh, that's it. That's interesting. I never really put that together, but that's smart.
It's cool. It's cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's real good.
So in that way, he was kind of like Vice. Right, he was argumentative. He was like, just a dick. Anyway, and so though a loose, peaceful understanding was reached that same year that Moran took over between the North and South Side gangs, it was pretty clear that old Bugs wasn't to be trusted. All right,
not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. This tension and silent disdain went on for about 3 years. When in the early 1929, Moran was offered a full shipment of Canadian whiskey that was hijacked from Capone and the Southside Boys.
Ooh.
You can't be doing that. You can't be stealing shipments of whiskey.
No, that's a big issue.
That's bad. Unless it's from, a business. But you can't do it from the mob. All right, you're going to get killed. Anyway, Moran accepted the offer from these unknown individuals. Unknown. And the transaction went swimmingly. No hassle, no headaches, just whiskey and money. Okay, that's what you want from a deal.
Absolutely.
There you go.
You don't want, like, there's no better outcome, you know?
No better outcome.
Literally the only outcome that's better is one that's non-existent, and that's where you make the deal, and whatever the deal involves, like, you get the money, and then you get that product back, and you can do it again. But that's a lot of enemies you make.
That's a lot of
that.
Yeah. There's a lot of working parts in that, moving parts rather. Anyway, well, so it went off without a hitch. Okay, it was so low stress that when the same unknown individuals, offered Moran yet another shipment of whiskey, he took the offer without hesitation. He's like, "Fuck yeah, it was so good last time. Let's do it again."
Smart.
You know, and it's during this second transaction that the very topic we're discussing took place. Okay. St. Valentine's Day, all right? It was on February 14th, St. Valentine's Day, 1929, on a cold, gray day at 10:30 in the morning in the SMC North Cartage Company warehouse on North Clark Street in Lincoln Park, Chicago, that Moran and 7 other individuals were to meet up with the sellers for the transaction. Okay?
It's already sounding when like one of the big guys has to go to the meeting or the meet, you know.
He was there to like oversee it.
It's
supposedly.
already in dangerous waters for sure.
No, it's true.
I mean, obviously there's exceptions, you know. If it's like in this case, it's supposedly a big shipment. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. You got to be there to supervise.
Yeah.
But the fact that an underling wasn't sent really tells you a lot about what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, 6 of the 7 individuals present were members of the North Side gang, but there was one dude who was just an optometrist named Reinhard Schwimmer, who literally just hung out with the gang for bragging rights among his normie friends.
Well, he made a fatal error.
Cool?
He made an absolutely fatal error.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking stupid
Hilarious.
optometrist bitch.
God damn it, look at my eyes. Also present was a German Shepherd named Highball.
Highball.
All right, amazing. He was tied to an axle of a car or something. But, and he was tied to an axle of a truck in the warehouse during the time it happened, but guess who wasn't fucking there? Moran.
Ooh.
Bugs wasn't there.
Smart, though.
What happened there? Anyway, so around 10:30 a.m., while these 7 men were gathered in the warehouse, probably wondering where Moran was, 4 men pull up in a black Cadillac and get out. Or 5 men. Some accounts, because there were people just walking around. It was like the middle of the morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So some accounts say 5, but like the official story is 4 men. So some were dressed as policemen, and others were in more average clothing for the time. So just like suits.
Yeah, just suit chilling.
Pretty much, yeah. But in any case, these men arrived. They come into the warehouse, and just from their clothing, the 7 North Side folk posit that this is just a routine bust, right? They're just like, this happens all the time. It's going to be fine. We're in a crime syndicate. It's going to be all right.
Yeah, it's normal. Everybody just chill. This is routine business. We do this weekly, at least.
It's true. As the cool, calm, and collected gangsters that they were, they complied no problem with what the men said. And what they said was, face the wall. Line up and face the wall is what they said.
Smart.
Okay. Once against the wall, however, the men impersonating policemen pulled out 2 Thompson submachine guns, which are Tommy guns, and emptied 70 bullets into the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, into their backs. Very disrespectful. Yeah, and after they were done doing that, to make sure that all the 7 dudes were dead, they finished off each man with 2 shotguns.
Smart. You got to make sure.
Fucking crazy. No wonder this is a massacre.
They're afraid of zombies and vampires. They got to make sure that there's no coming back from that, you know?
Dude, that's fucking 70 bullets. That's 10 bullets apiece.
Yeah.
Plus 2 shotgun blasts. That's insane.
When you got to think too, a lot of the decisions made by the Mafia, a lot of it's for show, and not for like newspapers, but more so like other gangs. Like, you know, you do something we don't like this is what can happen.
Yeah, it's setting examples.
So what better message can you send than just turning 7 grown men into nothing but bolognese sauce?
So you will be ground into hamburger meat by my hand.
Yeah, like just absolutely demolished.
So that's cool. So yeah, they're dead, and the genius of the men that were dressed, as policemen. It came into play as they were exiting the scene. Because to an outsider, it looked like just policemen taking plain-clothed men into custody. Okay?
Right.
And people were looking over there already because there was a bunch of fucking gunshots going off, right? So want to know something even crazier, though?
Hit me with it.
One of the 7 victims survived.
Hopefully not the optometrist.
No, I don't think so. He was a member of the North Side Gang. Along with Highball, by the way. He was unscathed.
That's nice. That's respectful. They're like, he didn't do anything.
The Highball is just hanging out.
Now, chances are he would have died anyway because he was tied up, and it's like, if nobody came there, it was like, well, casualties of war. But the fact that they didn't just put a bullet in his head is like, you know what? We don't have to. He doesn't make
respectful,
He doesn't make the choices that they do, so, like, what do we don't got to do nothing to him.
Yeah. So the surviving guy, his name was Frank Gusenberg.
The Guzman.
So he was alive and conscious when the actual police arrived. All right. So despite having 14 bullet wounds, isn't that funny? 14 bullet wounds. This guy's just alive and talking.
That's some 50 Cent shit right there.
Right?
Like, how do you do that,
dude? All right. So when asked by the police who committed the crime, Gusenberg, depending on the accounts that you believe, he either said, "No one shot me," or "Police did it."
Yeah.
Either way.
That sounds like a mafia answer. I would honestly...
Yeah, dude. I mean, and that's respect. Like, that's the mafia ways. Like, even if it's an opposing gang, like, you don't snitch. Like, that's not in the cards, kid.
Yeah, I would imagine that. I mean, personally, for me, I'm gonna go with the fact that he said it was a cop. That seems like a more mafia answer.
Yeah, and they were dressed as cops, so there you go.
And it's like that one's perfect to me because it is like that's what he saw. He's not lying to you, And that's kind of what they do is like they're not going to lie to your face, but they're going to tell you
the whole truth,
They're going to tell you a false truth for sure.
There you go. It's through a different light. All right. And that's all the cops got out of him because he died in a hospital about 3 hours later.
Right.
Which is probably good. That would probably be a terrible life if he just went on living. But
14
bullet wounds.
That's mesmerizing.
And at least one of those was like a buckshot. Like, that's terrible. Anyway, but just to reiterate, Moran wasn't there.
Right.
Okay? Though he was totally supposed to be. Some accounts say that he was even seen in the area prior to the massacre, but who knows? All right? But in any case, he lived on. He was just out. He was free. Everything's semi-okay for him. He just lost a lot of people, but he's still alive. But this all begs the question of who the fuck were those dudes in the police get-ups with the guns?
Well, and that's the $1 million question. Now, this is a very juvenile response, okay? But just something that would seem to make sense, and I know it sounds a bit Hollywood, but I could see it being a reality. This is my perspective on this, all right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that it was pretty much a mutual agreement between the North and the South. Obviously, yeah, the Italians and the Irish, whatever. But it's a mutual agreement. And the reason I believe this is that shit like this did happen a lot where it's like, yeah, you can't just go to war over a disagreement. But there's always got to be chips that you give to each other, or tokens. And perhaps this was Moran's way of protecting himself and his legacy. By like, all right, I'm gonna ex-nay. I ain't gonna go, but I'm gonna let you do this. Like, you guys go ahead. We'll call whatever the issue is even, and this is how it plays out.
So you're saying like he just threw bodies at a problem and hoped it would solve it?
In a way, I think it was
just like, I'm gonna sacrifice these dudes to you, and an optometrist. You can have the dog if you want.
Let me think on this for a minute. We'll be right back. Mr. Alex is here, so we're going to go let him in the home.
We'll be right back.
Anywho.
And we're back. Alex is in the room.
That's what I thought happened.
Yes.
That's my perception of
almost
reality.
Completely forgot throwing bodies at the problem. That's what it was.
Yeah, I'm thinking more, not necessarily throwing bodies at the problem. I'm thinking of it as more, so you got to think Hollywood here. I know that we said that's like not how it works, but you got to think Hollywood here. It's like,
but like negotiating people's lives for like debts is pretty crazy.
oh yeah, but
You know, just randos. They're just like, yeah, I like these guys. You can kill them. Are we cool now?
pretty much. Yeah,
It's
it's
not
like,
chill.
you know, this happened. Well, let's call it even. We'll do this. Or maybe it's some wild fucking third-party bastard that's just out there to have a good time.
Exactly.
Like, let's cause some
Exactly.
problems out here, guys.
Who the
Let's fucking
fuck
do it?
were those guys? Many at the time believed that it actually was the police, and others reasonably thought that it was members of or men hired by the Southside Gang with Capone. You know, so Capone he had an alibi, however, because he
Okay.
was in fucking Miami soaking up the sun.
All right, all right.
All right, so he was just bathing in the sun, but it still could have been his guys. You know, some evidence points to a close ally of his named Machine Gun Jack McGurn, which kind of
Jerk
falls in
McGurk.
line with what happened.
He's jerking McGurk, dude.
Jerkin McGurn. So he was in the area at the time of the massacre. People saw him. All right, they saw him on his face on the street, but he had an alibi as well because a pretty biased alibi, but it was an alibi nonetheless. He claimed that he was in bed at the time with his beautiful blonde golfer girlfriend Louise Rolfe.
What a beautiful girl.
At the time, because, you know, it was Valentine's Day. It kind of makes sense. Anyway, so news outlets at the time actually dubbed her the Blonde Alibi, which apparently has become a term, or like a phrase.
You're the blonde
that people
alibi.
use.
It's a nice way of calling you a cunt.
There you go. McGurn was charged with the massacre, but never brought to trial, purportedly due to his blonde alibi.
All right, all right.
So most just assumed that he was the orchestrator of the whole thing under the request of Capone. So, very recently, actually, like 80-ish years after the massacre took place, a new theory emerged that posited that a gangster, not even in the conversation, like you were saying, just a rogue dude, may have been responsible. And his name was William White, a.k.a. Three-Fingered Jack.
Willie White.
Willie White. Whose cousin had died in a bar fight with one of Moran's men at the time.
Good.
Okay? So some evidence that could, you know, point towards this being real. White's father was a policeman, allowing him some semblance of access to, you know, policeman garb.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so he could just get all the shit. Another being the fact that witnesses at the time claimed that the driver of the getaway car was missing fingers. Three-fingered Jack in there.
Okay.
That was on top of the fact that this level of brutality, when it came to like carrying out a murder, seemed like something that would be done out of passion rather than business. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
It's like lining up dudes, shooting them in the back 70 times. Like, that's insane.
But see, also, it's hard to tell with the fucking Mafia because it's like, you don't know. To me, now this is just me. This is Grant's opinion here. This means nothing to anyone but myself. For me, like a personal attack would be a lot more like that didn't sound right. It would be a lot less of a surprise. It would be much more just out in the open, just like, hey, go fuck yourself. I'm Three-Fingered Joe. I'm just shoot
you can still do like a crime of passion and have it like well planned out. I mean, they did a whole transaction before this one just to get them comfortable. You know, it could just be like mass deception.
You'll never sway
an
me,
entire
Gypsy.
gang.
You'll never sway me.
Well, they still did spare the dog, right?
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. I understand. I mean, don't get me
Highball
wrong.
is alive.
Don't get me wrong.
Not anymore, but he was at the time.
I get it if the dog had to die. You know, I understand. It's like
Highball did not need to die, and he didn't. Okay,
Hey, we don't know.
Let's
Maybe
just
he was-
relish in that.
Maybe he was a dick. Maybe he bit mailmen. I don't know.
Mailmans.
Maybe he was fucking. Maybe he was just a public nuisance,
Yeah.
and that's why he was tied up to a car because it was like, this guy will fucking kill somebody.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, sure, they spared the dog, but these 7 dudes that died, they weren't necessarily, like, pivotal members of the Northside Gang.
All right.
One of them was a fucking optometrist. It was, like, what? Anyway, so passion seemed like it definitely wormed its way into the massacre. Another thing that, takes Capone out of the running for orchestrator, Moran went on living after this took place.
Really?
Like, what was stopping him from going back to Schofield's flower shop and wasting him like he did the other 2 leaders of the gang? You know?
It's a good question.
But he just went on living. So, he knew, he knew where he operated out of. Another thing that kind of muddies the waters, William White, Three-Finger Jack, he was supposedly in jail at the time.
Alibi.
So who the fuck were those guys?
There's
no answers.
I think that's the whole point. See, it's the same thing with the Mafia. You get these outsiders, right?
Yeah.
Then no one has any questions.
No one has any questions. Well, unfortunately for Capone, the William White theory came 8 decades too late. So pretty much everyone was under the assumption that it was all connected to him, right? Which led to the federal government and President Hoover specifically to try to get him out get him on any count, really, that they could.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It just this massacre definitely put into motion their hunt. Right?
The hunt.
They were just hunting for this guy. And, they were successful in the form of tax evasion. The old fuckaroo. Okay? After an 11-year sentence and a substantial amount of time in Alcatraz, where he began deteriorating health-wise due to unaddressed syphilis, he was released from prison on November 16th of 1939, and the effects of the disease took hold, and for the last 8 years of his life, before his death on January 25th of 1947, he had the mental capacity and mindset of a 12-year-old child.
Damn, what a fall from grace. How about that?
Yeah, how about that? So that's the massacre there, St. Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and that it qualifies. It certainly qualifies as a massacre. We're talking a lot of corpses over the course of...
It's just like someone spilled chili in that fucking warehouse. It was crazy afterward.
We are talking double-digit murders in the course of about 2 calendar years. And a good, significant chunk of those that happened, it just this one instance, happened in a matter of probably 90 seconds.
Yeah. No, it was real quick.
And like I said earlier, they were turned into meat sauce. There's no other explanation.
Nice. Yeah.
Picture a nice hearty dish of spaghetti. No meatballs, though. The meatballs are broken up into the sauce, and you kind of eat it like a slop. Those are the eyeballs.
Those are the dog's turds or something. I don't know.
Think of that, but instead of beef with some nice seasonings and, a nice red sauce, we're talking cartilage and bone and guts and chunks of skin. And
it's your optometrist.
Possibly even, some brain matter. There's a lot of issues that...
So think of that.
You're going to need a team of sanitation experts to get in there and scrub that place down.
It's best just burn it down.
Yeah, that's how you get some hauntings. You get
untie highball first, but burn it down.
Yeah, you're fucked. But the Valentine's Day Massacre, that's just one instance of... I guess without a better word to describe it with, enormous murder. Just enormous murder.
It was so big, this murder, yeah.
This happened pretty, I wouldn't say regularly, but common enough to where it was like, oh, that happened again?
Yeah. It all started because they took away fucking booze. Just have a drink and be cool.
Yeah, it's this might ruffle some feathers. It's sort of like the common day mass shooting or like a school shooting.
Yeah, they happen every day.
It happens often enough to where it's not surprising when you hear that shit in the news. It's
I find myself wondering what the hell's going on. There hasn't been a shooting in a couple days.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's weird, man. Nothing
feels right, but everything's good, and it's not real? I don't know.
A group of people weren't brutally murdered in public recently? What's going on with us?
Yeah.
That's not like us. But yeah, that is the Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah.
And
how about that?
It's a fucked up one because...
That was almost 100 years ago.
Yeah,
92 or something.
We're very rapidly approaching the 100-year mark on that. It'll be a century
There were
since
cars
that
and
event
everything.
occurred.
Isn't it crazy being in the future?
But yeah, I'm hoping that this will be the start of some more gang/mafia related activity we do on the show.
Yeah,
because it's very intriguing. It's true crime with some extra steps because it's not really a secret of who done it. It's more like we know who did it, but why, when, and just again why?
It's like crime with a smoking jacket. It's a bit more classy.
Yeah,
bit.
it always has a solid explanation, but never the answer that you're expecting. That's what's great about it.
Yeah.
So how about that?
Yeah, so that was, like Grant said, gangster stuff. Maybe we'll do more of that later. I know I want to cover Richard Kuklinski at one point. At some point.
I thought we maybe did that already.
No, we've mentioned him. We've mentioned him, but no, dude, we gotta do that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I can't believe we didn't. That one's just interesting.
Right? That guy doing the tree on people.
And see, what's even more interesting about him is the fact. Well, I mean, for those of you that know Richard Kuklinski or the Iceman,
Don't give too much away.
No, obviously not.
We don't want to unload.
There's no way of knowing if anything he said or like the sheer volume of what he said is true. But it doesn't change the fact that it's insane.
The things that can be corroborated are fucked.
Yeah, so
it's awesome.
Like it's immediately just one of the coolest things you'll ever experience.
But yeah, so he'll go on the list. Our list is fucking expanding, dude. We got people reaching out to us, asking for specific topics. I don't know if you saw that one on Instagram. That was great. They gave us like 3 suggestions. Wherever you are, hello.
I actually have not. I'm sorry. I've been slacking a little bit this week. I've been very busy.
Yeah, I answered it. It was good.
Okay, perfect.
It was good.
Yeah, I've been falling behind a little bit. Just that's about it. But
yeah, for those of you that usually reach out to us, Grant is usually the one to respond. But,
yeah,
but I caught that one.
Nice.
It was mine.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll don't worry. If it's out there and it's unanswered, I will answer it. Just give me a minute.
Oh, he'll do it. He's going through files, all these files he's got to go through.
Yeah, I've got cabinets upon cabinets of emptiness.
Good Lord. Yeah, they're all just full of computers and different manila folders.
Do you know how hard it is to organize nothing? It's damn near impossible.
There's no pattern to it.
I can't put it where I want to put it because it doesn't exist. But
anyway.
That's the episode for
That is the episode, yeah. So we are starting a call. You can follow us on all the shit, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're on YouTube. You can like and subscribe there.
Absolutely.
A lot of people loving the Finders episode. A lot of people telling me that that's how they got into us. It's pretty funny because that was
interesting.
That was just a random-ass episode. That was awesome.
Yeah, we were pretty much, that was one of those weeks. It was like, what do we do? It was like Tuesday night.
How about
like,
the Finders?
How about this? Let's just fuck around and see what this is.
YouTube loves it.
But
anyway,
you guys fucking love it, so... Cool, you guys are
cool beans, bro. Yeah, I mean, startacult@gmail.com. Email us anything you want. And what else? We got the Patreon down below.
Yes, we do. It's always
New
there.
Patreon episode coming at you this coming Thursday.
You're 100% welcome to join us and listen to us a little bit more.
A lot of times we just talk about work and Navi, the dog.
Yeah, Navi's typically very present on those
episodes. He's very vocal, that
guy.
He
likes to be around. So yeah, you can get your Navi updates. If you guys are into him,
he's getting bigger still. He's real big.
Yeah, he's a fucking moose.
This guy's a fucking yacht.
It's alarming at the speed that he grows. One day he will consume this house, and I will have to leave. And there's nothing I can do about that because I just cannot bring myself to killing a dog.
He grows at the speed and intensity with which we love you.
That's a good one.
There you go. But anyway, so yeah, we are starting a cult. Thank you, guys. This is Grant, and I'm Jake, and Alex is here. Alex, you want to do bananas this week?
He's doing it.
Hell
dude.
Yeah.
We got a new guy.
All right, so thank you. Goodbye.
Banana.